made from exchange transactions. 10 on financial reporting in hyperinflationary economies, 11 on construction contracts, 12 on inventories, that is otherwise called stock in some environment, 13 on leases, 14 on events after reporting date. And I think I want to pick a special interest in this 14, especially looking at some of the issues that that came out from some discussions yesterday. What happens when we have gotten to the end of the year, and then some other things came up that affected the year that just passed, and we have already have the financial statement prepared. This is what 14 of IPSAS took time to discuss. How do you tackle this in accounting? Then 15 on some financial instruments, 16 investment property, 17 property, plant and equipment, and so on and so forth. Like I said, we're just trying to go have a quick glance at this so we can now pick what is of interest to us. Impairments is what 21 is talking about. Disclosure about general government sector is 22. I'm also interested in 25 because it affects us, especially the financial reports that placed before us. And having taken about to look at these various things, the question that I want to ask here is, what should be of special interest to us as MPs in all these 1 to 32 issues that we have, that IPSAS addressed? What should be of special interest to us? Now, I go back to the issue mentioned in the preambles, essentially looking at articles 9, 1A and C, 11, 1, that MPs have oversight roles to play in each of the community budgets and annual audit reports of the community organs and institutions. What then are we looking for? Why are we going to talk about this? Until you know what you need to look for, the paper before you is just useless. But when you know, when you have, of course, talk about financial reports, many times these do come in volumes, in very big volumes, very, very elaborate documents that could run into several pages. Now, it is given that not all of us here in the parliament are accountants, not talk of chartered accountants. Of course, there's no doubt about that. But that notwithstanding, we should be able to know what to look for in that document before us that runs into several pages. We can't begin to look from the first page all through to page 150 or more. That is not what, in fact, we will get bogged out and tired out along the line. So we should look at especially what should we pick interest in most in the financial reports that is before us. One, we should be interested in the financial position, the financial performance and cash flow of the community organs and institutions, and with the intention of seeing that they are fairly presented in the consolidated financial statement. Fairness in the presentation. We'll also come to that very soon. We'll get there. Now, the financial statements are expected to represent as faithfully as possible the financial performance and the position of the community financial activities. So we're interested in that. This report before us, has it presented as faithfully as possible these issues? Now, also, these statements should reflect the economic substance of events and transactions of the community, not merely the legal form. Yes, we have the legal form, that is the rules and regulations that must be followed as you report what. But again, we also look at the economic substance. Is it economical? Activities that have taken place during the year, were they fair enough? Were they good enough? Or were there things that look like wastages that are avoidable, which have been reported? We're interested in this. Then, of course, we want to be sure that the statements are neutral, that is free from bias. They are prudent. They are prudent. They are complete in all material respects. Nothing that is significant is found missing. And of course, they are prepared in full compliance with IFSAS. Of course, we mentioned earlier that the main objective of IFSAS, as you can see, is in direct, is in tandem, in perfect agreement with our Article 4F of the Supplementary Act. Now, again, we should be interested in the accounting policies. That the accounting policies on the basis of which certain items are treated are the same in all member countries. Not that in a particular member country, the organs have reported using cash basis. In another one, they are reported using accrual basis. No, they should be the same. We want to be sure that they are the same. And again, we want to also be sure that the policies and the notes to the accounts are properly captured in the financial statement. We'll come down to this too also very soon, so we understand what accounting mean by this. What accountants mean by these words. And again, there is the issue of consistency. We want to be very sure that the policies that have been chosen are being used consistently over time. Talking about consistency in accounting, if for instance we have decided to use maybe straight line method in depreciation of certain assets. Now, we want to be sure that this method had been used continuously over the year, not that we use straight line method in the year 1, in another year we are using maybe reducing balance method. But take note that consistency does not mean that we may not change our method if it becomes necessary and important to do so. But of course, when we change our method, this is part of what I'm going to see in notes of accounts, there should be the detailed reason why we change. And of course, that new method should be used consistently over some period of time. What specifically are we looking for in each of the 5 issues that I mentioned earlier? This is where, our work, we have to be extra careful here as MPs. As given by IFSAS 189, the statement of financial position as before us should include line items around the property, plant, and equipment, issues of intangibles, issues of financial assets, excluding the other ones that is below, from D to F, issue of investments that are being reported, inventories, recoverables, taxes and transfers, issues of receivables from exchange transactions, issues of cash and cash equivalents, taxes and transfers, payable, other payables under exchange transactions, provisions, non-current liabilities. If we have monetary interest, we want to see that. And of course, if you see have net assets equity, we want to see that. That's to say, when we pick the financial report, I have to be a bit detailed there, from the fact that not all of us are accountants. But we have a duty to look at the accounting statement that is before us. And we need not to be accountants before we can form an opinion. No, not until you become an accountant before you can form your opinion on these things. Once you know what to look out for, you look out for them, and on the basis of what you have seen, you raise an issue that forms that will eventually lead to general opinion. What of the statement of financial position? It has 101 explain this. Revenue from operation, surplus or deficit for the period. I'm sure you have this document with before